Okay, time for a quick little ingredient spotlight. As a dietitian, I feel like I'm more tuned in to ingredients and things, but I'm also super aware that not everything that has been labeled as a bad guy or something dangerous is what it is, because there's just so much information out there. So as I've entered the world of cosmetics, I'm looking at some of those things that are talked about and avoided, but I really wanted to understand why. And if you're like me, you're not okay with just a surface answer or necessarily going along with what everybody says. So here's what I've learned, and you can make the decision for yourself what's important to you. Talc has been used in cosmetics for centuries. It's an ingredient that's used to dilute the pigments, and we've used it for a long time. It can be in things even labeled natural because it's a mineral and it gets mined out of the earth. Talc has been avoided by some cosmetic companies for longer than there have been health concerns, simply because of how it performs. Sometimes if you were using just straight talc and you were to rub it on your fingers, it would leave kind of like a white stain and like a residue because it doesn't smooth into the skin very well. So instead, a lot of higher end companies started using mica instead, which is also a natural mined mineral, but it blends into the skin and gives you a more natural look. So if you found that you had better luck with a higher end cosmetic in the past and it contained mica instead of talc, that's why. Health concerns related to talc really came more related to the being used as baby powder and not in cosmetics. Exposure to talc in mucous membrane areas and it being absorbed actually was linked to some cancers. So we know that if we absorb it, it's bad news bears. This can be a problem in cosmetics, perhaps because if you inhale the talc, then it's also exposed to your lungs. Lung concerns and respiratory concerns really have been mostly seen in miners who mine the talc out of the earth, and it's often laced with asbestos fibers as well. It's just a naturally occurring mineral deposits that are close to each other. But we all know when you're putting on your blush or a full face of powder, you're probably going to inhale some of that. So while it might not be as much exposure, the potential risk is still there. I think that if you're somebody with existing respiratory conditions, this should definitely be something that you pay attention to. And because of the just downright chalkiness of talc, it can be irritating to people with sensitive skin. And so if you are rubbing it on, it can cause some irritation. So, do we have proof positive that talc in cosmetics is dangerous and absolutely causes cancer? No. Do we have some reason to think that maybe it's something that we don't want to inhale? Yeah. So, do with it what you will. This is the information that I have. I hope that it's helpful. And if you want talc free, you know where to find me.